All right, y'all. What's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all. So we all know that Kayla Harrison is next in line for the bantamweight title shot now, right? Safe to say that she's next in line to fight Pena. But after reading through this interview, we might have another roadblock, according to Kayla Harrison's manager, Ali. But hopefully what Ali is saying and referring to is just a rumor right now. But as y'all know, Julianna Pena isn't looking for a return until like International Fight Week, which is what, June 24th through the 30th, which is still a long ways away. But also from what Ali is saying is that Pena might be out longer because of an injury or because of health issues. So until then, Pena versus Harrison for that week could be off, which, in my opinion, anyways, if they had scheduled the fight for that time or that week, it'd be just too far out for me. That's just too far out anyway, because Julianna Pena won the belt in October of 2024, and she wouldn't be looking for a return until June. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. That's still like 9 months, and that's another once a year deal for a champion. And as fight fans, we want to see active champions. I mean, champions ain't got to fight 4 or 5 times a year. We love to see three, but at least two. I want to see a champion on that turnaround schedule of fight once in the first half of the year and fight once in the second half of the year. That's fine with me. If you can at least get two good title fights a year, that's fine. But once you start doing that middle of the year thing, like always in the summer, and you don't come back to wrap it up one more time or defend one more time in like December or at least November or something like that, it starts to get a little bit annoying here. I know fighters have injuries and everything, but still that's a part of being a champion, right? So with her wanting to schedule for International Fight Week against Pena, I know it's money, I know it's a financial thing, but the UFC, they're going to look at this at some point and say, all right, this is kind of turning the fans off, right? But anyways, if this is the situation and Kayla can't get the title and she wants to be active, Ali is looking for an interim belt. Like he said, look, he's looking for an interim title fight for Kayla Harrison soon, because I guess he wants to get back in there as soon as possible. Like if Pena's not ready, they want to do something to stake that claim as, hey, look, we're the next champion, or we are next in line, and Julianna Pena can't duck that, right? Not saying Julianna Pena is ducking that, but he just wants to put her in a situation where she has Julianna Pena cornered, even if she is looking for an Amanda Nunes fight, right? But this is what he said in a recent interview whenever he was asked about it. He said, "This is what I've been told. Julianna Pena, if she's not ready to fight Kayla, she might have some health problems. It's going to be an interim title. 100% this is going to happen. The UFC is not just going to hold up the division because someone doesn't want to fight or they're injured. If you're out more than 8-9 months, then the UFC should make an interim title." And I love that. And that's what I agree with too. If a fighter's going to be out for a while and they're not an active champion, and you have an active contender that is making a statement. Now I know Kayla Harrison only won 2 in the UFC, but still, like, Kayla Harrison is like the freshest bantamweight they have right now. She is the biggest face they have, and they want to get her closer to that belt. So it's understandable that, look, we don't want her sitting around 8 or 9 months. So we got to do something to make her look like the next contender, next champion, especially for bantamweight. They need Kayla right now, right? But even if you go to flyweight, it's the same thing I was saying with Manon Fiore. Like, Manon had to wait almost she did have to wait a whole year. She fought in March while Grasso and Shevchenko, they were injured. They had a couple of injuries. They did the tough show. They themselves didn't fight for like a whole year. They didn't wrap up the rubber match until like, a year later. So until then, like, fighters like Manon or Kayla Harrison, to me, deserve like an interim belt in the meantime. They deserve that fight to just kind of lock it in and say, look, I'm next. They can't have anybody jump ahead. He also said this: I don't think any division should be held up because someone is injured. I agree with that. If you as the champion defend your title a lot, I think you get the courtesy. Exactly. Like, if you have a champion that's defending like 2 times a year, like I said, at minimum, or even 3, if they have to sit out for a year, then fine. They get that courtesy. They get that courtesy. But if you just become the champion and you want to take a year off, I don't think you should get this courtesy. All right. So, yeah, like, of course, if Julianna Pena is injured, there's nothing you can do about it. But if she's just kind of holding out, you know, for another fight, then yeah, we gotta speed this thing up. So if Pena's not trying to return until June, and Kayla Harrison wants to be active, I think Kayla or any other contender, they deserve that interim title fight. They deserve that. They deserve that to, just be able to move keep moving, keep active themselves, and keep the division going, so that the fighter, they themselves, they don't get rusty and they can still stay financially well off, right? I think, well, I know Pena acknowledges this as the next fight now. She definitely does. She's already gone on record to say, "Oh yeah, I want to fight Pena," but she keeps saying International Fight Week, right? But in my opinion, I think this might be a stall out as well for her, trying to sit on that Amanda Nunes fight. She's trying to sit on that situation right now to see if Amanda returns in this, big gap of inactivity. All of this time that's going on right now, she's just sitting out waiting to see if Nunes does make that return, which to me is a bad idea because you already got a few fights right now that make sense. So they need to make those happen instead, because you can't really sit on Amanda's word right now, or even Dana White's word, or when Amanda comes back. Because like he said in his recent interview about Amanda, he was like, there's still a lot of things we got to talk about. Like, what weight is she going to come back at? Like, where's she going to fit in at this point? Right. But for somebody like Kayla Harrison, look, I know she doesn't want to sit out like 9 or 10 months. So if there's a fight for her that can be made now, like in March or April, do it. Do it. I think she needs to do it. Because I don't know how much longer Kayla has as well. Like I said, if she doesn't really get on this lifestyle of being a bantamweight, it's going to be hard on her body, maybe even for one more fight like in June. But if, she continues to know when she has a fight, she can get on that bantamweight diet, whatever she's doing, and, get her weight down properly. She won't be rushed into it, or, sitting out too long. So where it's going to be a drastic shock to her body again. Um, so yeah, that's where I stand with that. I agree with Ali on that, man. Like if they do an interim belt, fine, because Kayla's going to be sitting out a while again. She fought in October, the same period that Julianna Pena did. Julianna Pena ain't trying to come back to the summer. Come on, man. We just kicking winter off here, man. She ain't fighting to the summertime. So, Kayla's going to be hungry. She's going to be ready. And I remember in another interview, Kayla said she wants to fight. Kayla said she wants to fight it. At least whoever, at least another fight before the title, for the title shot. She'll fight anybody. I know that the interviewer, he did, because I know somebody brought this up, but I know the interviewer, he brought up Rocky Pennington. He brought up Rocky Pennington in this one because he was like, well, if they do the interim fight, then, would Rocky be like the next thing? So Ali was like, hey, whatever the matchmakers do, that's their job. That's McMahon's job. But 100%, that's a fight that they would do. It's a doable fight, which I guess he was just answering like, okay, if they threw Rocky at them for that interim belt, they would take it. Right. But to me, with where Rocky is standing right now and at her age, of course, yeah, she could do that fight. Kayla could do it for experience, and I know for them, Ali, and for Kayla, to say, hey, we'll fight anybody, that's always a good thing. But to me, there's one even better. I'll do him one even better. And even before this particular Brazilian said anything about it, this was a fight that I was looking forward to anyway. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Norma Dumont. All right. Norma Dumont would be the perfect fight for Kayla in an interim fight, for an interim title fight. And Norma Dumont, she went on record. She went on record on her Instagram, and she said, hey, Ali and Kayla Harrison, we can do this. I hope they don't accept the fight for the interim belt with an athlete who's coming off a defeat to Julianna Pena. I am the athlete with the longest streak in the category and the only one who has the physical and technical capacity to overcome it. And you know it. So we're going to have a real interesting fight for the bantamweight interim title. So we're going to have a really interesting fight for the bantamweight interim title. Yeah. So yeah, man, Norma Dumont made her call out right there. That's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear too in this situation, because I know Norma's already made the call out of Rocky Pennington at the time. She called her out because she was like, hey, I don't have a fight, and I want to get back in there as soon as possible. How about we do it? But now there's a even bigger opportunity right here where Kayla Harrison, Ali, they want to put her in an interim title situation. Norma Dumont caught wind of it, and what does she do? As somebody who's hungry, she called them out. She was like, hey, let's make this happen. Don't call out somebody who's coming off a loss. Call me out. I'm the one on the longest win streak. I'm the one with the physical and technical capacity to overcome Kayla Harrison. My thoughts on that, that's perfect. I might do another video just kind of breaking that fight down, period. But that's what I want to hear. Kayla versus Norma Dumont would be the most realistic fight. Like, I would love to see it as maybe either like Kayla defending against Norma, where it was like just a legit title fight down the line. But if Pena's holding the division up right now and she's not making a comeback until June, until then, I'd love to see this fight in the spring. Make Kayla Harrison versus Norma Dumont happen in either like March or April. Hey, put it on the same card wherever you put Manon, um, Valentina versus Manon. No, no, no. You know what? Do one better. Kayla Harrison versus Norma Dumont for an interim belt on a UFC Fight Night main event. That would be perfect. Saying like March or April, because I was looking at the schedule for 2025. I believe March has a lot of UFC Fight Night cards. I believe they only have like one pay-per-view card, which is 313. I think like the other 3 or 4 on those Saturdays are UFC Fight Night cards. So either in March or April, lock in Harrison versus Dumont as the main event for one of these UFC Fight Night cards. To me, that would be perfect. I'll be on the call that when I'm all for that fight, because Kayla, her biggest threat right now would be a young, fresh fighter that's just as big, maybe just as strong as her, but also technically sound in Norma Dumont. Has 2 good wins over veterans as well. She beat 2 solid strikers in Irene Aldana and GDR, whereas Kayla Harrison defeated Holly Holm and Ketlin Vieira, right? So while they're beating up the older fighters, everybody's looking at these two thinking, hey, when are they going to be matched up? So now this is the perfect opportunity to match these 2 fighters up. So yeah, overall, yeah, that's my thoughts on that whole situation. I do want to see Kayla return as soon as she can, as soon as possible. I want to see Julianna Pena return as soon as possible. Like, I would love to see them make the fight earlier, but again, man, if she's facing health issues or whatever, I don't know. That might just kind of hold the division up. But until then, we need somebody holding on to like an interim belt, or that's like the uncrowned champion. Like, how we looking at Tom Aspinall's situation right now, right? Till Tom Aspinall gets his shot, we want to see the same thing over here, in the bantamweight division. All right. No more holdups. Got to stay active. What do y'all think, guys? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.